All right, welcome. Today, we're tackling something that so many people with multiple sclerosis deal with. That feeling of instability, of not being steady on your feet. It's easy to think of balance as this big, whole body problem. But what's really fascinating is that the key to getting it back might actually be hiding right at the bottom. We're talking about your feet and ankles. So here's how we're going to break this all down. First, we'll get into the why MS messes with your balance in the first place. Then we'll zoom way in on your feet as the true foundation. We'll put a spotlight on something called drop foot, check out the rehabilitation toolkit you can use, and wrap up with the incredible and maybe underrated power of just walking. Okay, so first things first, let's really get to the bottom of this whole instability thing with MS.
Right. So why exactly does MS throw your balance off? It can feel kind of vague and frustrating, but believe it or not, there's a really clear reason for it. It all starts inside your body's own internal communication system. And here's the root of it all. Imagine your nerves are like the electrical wiring in your house, and they're wrapped in this protective insulation called the myelin sheath. Well, with MS, your own immune system gets confused and starts attacking that insulation. So what happens? The signals from your brain to your body get all scrambled. They might be slow, they might be distorted, or they might just not get through at all. And that includes the crucial messages to the muscles that keep you upright and stable.
So this signal breakdown creates this kind of triple threat to your stability. First up, you've got muscle weakness. The messages just aren't telling the muscles to fire with full power. Then you've got spasticity. This is that frustrating muscle stiffness, especially in the legs. And to top it off, there's ataxia, which is just a fancy word for a lack of coordination. Your brain is telling your body to do something, but the movement comes out all clumsy and unsteady. These three things team up, and boom, your balance really takes a hit.
And this is where a really nasty feedback loop can start to kick in. It all begins pretty simply, right? Your walk, your gait, just feels a little off, a little wobbly. You don't feel quite as secure on your feet. Naturally, when walking feels unsafe, what happens next is totally understandable. You develop a fear of falling. And look, this isn't just in your head. Statistics show more than half of people with MS do fall. So that fear, it's real, and it has a massive effect on your daily decisions. So, to protect yourself, you do the logical thing. You start moving less. You avoid activities that feel risky. You become more sedentary. And there's the trap. This is the vicious cycle. Because when you stop moving, your muscles get even weaker, and that spasticity can get even worse. So the exact things that made you unstable in the first place are now being amplified by the very thing you're doing to stay safe. It's a cycle that feeds itself, and finding a way to break it is absolutely critical.
Okay, so how do we break that cycle?
Well, this is where things get really interesting. It's about a total shift in focus. The key to unlocking better stability might be hiding somewhere you weren't even looking. Yup, you heard that right. The secret is below your knees. Instead of getting overwhelmed by this big whole body issue, we can zero in on the foundation. The real key to rebuilding stability, confidence, everything, it starts with your feet and ankles. And what's so powerful about this is how specific we can be. This isn't just some vague strengthen your feet advice. We can pinpoint the exact culprits. You've got the tibialis anterior. That's the muscle that's supposed to lift your foot up. When it gets weak, that's a huge problem. Then you've got your calf muscles, the gastrocnemius and soleus. They're your push-off engine for walking. They get stiff from spasticity, so you lose power. Even the little tiny muscles inside your foot, the ones that make all those micro adjustments for balance, they lose their sensitivity and stability. It's like each one is a specific domino in the chain.
Let's zoom in on one of those dominoes, probably the most famous one. It's called drop foot, and it's caused directly by weakness in that very first muscle we talked about, the one that lifts your foot.
So, drop foot is the perfect poster child for this whole issue. It's not a disease in itself, it's a symptom. It's what happens when those glitchy nerve signals don't tell your tibialis anterior muscle to lift the front of your foot when you walk. The result? Your toes drag, they scrape, they catch on the tiniest little bump on the floor, and that creates a major trip hazard. Now, your body's smart. To keep from tripping, it comes up with a workaround. You start lifting your whole leg up really high with every step, almost like you're climbing invisible stairs. This is called a steppage gait. And yeah, it stops you from tripping, but man, is it a gas guzzler. It burns a ton of extra energy. And if you have MS, you know that energy is precious. This directly feeds into and makes MS-related fatigue, which is already a beast to deal with, so much worse.
But here's the really good news. Because we can get so specific about what's going wrong, down to a single muscle, we can also get really specific with the solutions. So let's open up the toolbox and see what's inside for rehabilitation.
Okay, so there are basically 3 main tools in the kit. You've got good old physiotherapy, actively working to strengthen those muscles and improve coordination. Then there are AFOs, which stands for ankle foot orthosis. Think of it as a custom-fit mechanical brace that gives your foot the support it needs. And finally, there's this really cool tech called FES, or functional electrical stimulation. It uses tiny, gentle electrical pulses to basically wake up the muscle and tell it to fire. Each one has its own job to do.
Now, this is a really critical idea to grasp. The difference between passive help and active rehab. Think of an AFO brace as passive support. It's a fantastic crutch. It holds your foot up, prevents falls, and gives you immediate safety. But physiotherapy and FES, that's active rehab. That's a workout for the root cause. You're actually trying to retrain those nerve pathways and get the muscle function back online. One is managing the symptom, the other is fixing the problem. And for a lot of people, the magic happens when you use them together.
Which brings us to what might be the ultimate multi-tool in our kit. It's something that's active, it's holistic, it affects your whole body, and it's something almost anyone can do. I'm talking about the simple, profound power of walking. But before we get into all its benefits, let's use walking to solve a little mystery that a lot of people with MS have. That constant feeling of having cold feet. What's up with that? Is it a nerve glitch or is it a blood flow problem? Well, the answer is, it could be both. See, sometimes it's neurological. Those scrambled nerves are sending your brain a fake cold signal. That's called dysesthesia. But other times, it's just plain old bad circulation because you're not moving around as much. And this is where walking is just brilliant. It's a 2-for-1 solution. It gets your heart pumping and boosts blood flow, physically warming up your feet. And at the same time, the real feeling of your feet on the ground sends real sensory signals to your brain that can actually override those fake cold signals. It tackles a problem from both sides. And look, the benefits just keep stacking up. It's not just about your feet. When you get into a consistent walking routine, the data is pretty amazing. We're talking about better balance, sure, but also less fatigue, that's huge, and improved mood, and even sharper thinking. It's like a therapy that works on your entire system, not just one part. Of course, the key is to harness this power safely. You've got to be smart about it. You start small, maybe just a few minutes, and build up slowly. Get a pair of good supportive shoes that won't slip. Seriously, talk to a physiotherapist. They can help you build a plan that's perfect for you. And hey, for extra support and confidence, grab a friend to walk with, or try walking in a pool where the water can support you. The point is to just start, but start smart. Look, taking on the challenge of balance and mobility with MS can feel like a massive mountain to climb. But I hope what we've seen today is that the path to the summit starts with just a single, focused step. When you realize that stability literally starts from the ground up, the whole journey becomes so much clearer, less scary, and honestly, a lot more hopeful. So I'll leave you with this question. What's the one step, big or small, that you're going to take for your foundation today?